Hi Instagram, Twitter, Facebook and YouTube and the digital universe. I'm Tabby Wells and I'm the creator of Small Gods, which is a dystopian television show that I've been working on for the past few months. What started off with just writing a pilot episode script has evolved into something much bigger than I ever thought it could be. We've had multiple rehearsed readings over Zoom, we've had original concept art and music created, and we're now at the stage where the project is going to be pitched to different production companies and studios. So what is Small Gods, you might ask? Well, Small Gods is set in the post-apocalyptic city of Nightwing, 35 years after a chemical war. In this city, there are multiple different guilds that are warring for absolute power, from a guild of ancient assassins to a very corrupt law enforcement, all under the rule of tyrannical government. But little do they know that there is a very ominous and perhaps extraterrestrial force lurking underneath that threatens life as they know it. As the project is in the pitching stage, we wanted to thank all of our followers and supporters by introducing a new piece of content that personally I think you guys will find really exciting. Recently, I've been having interviews with the cast of the final rehearsed read, asking them questions about the world so that you can get a better insight into what Small Gods is really about and why we all love it so much. There are multiple interviews for you to sit through, so you can sit whilst having a cup of tea on a rainy day or maybe on your way to work, or just as something in the background. But I'm hoping that they keep you hooked and give you a reason to keep supporting this project, which we're so unbelievably grateful for. So sit down, get comfortable, and most of all, enjoy.
Well, initially, when I saw the call out, it was the genre. A dystopian sci-fi with a guild of elite assassins. How could you not love it, to be honest? So yeah, I was smashed that button. And then once I read it, I think it's the ensemble nature of it, really. The fact that it's not just one person's story. There's multiple characters and they're all so well rounded, and there's a lot to follow. It's reminiscent of Game of Thrones, really, isn't it? That first episode where it's like, what the hell is going on? Who are these people? And it's just exciting. It just gets you excited straight away. I'm quite into like government oppression and how people overthrow governments, and there's a 1984ness to the way that the government or the governing body oppress the civilians. There's curfews, and you just get this feeling that there's going to be some kind of uprising at some point. Obviously, I'm not privy really to what happens later on, but you just get this buzz of, oh, go on, get the people back at the government. You know, of course, the diversity of the characters that you very rarely see such a diverse range, not just of ethnicity, but of gender alignment, of background, of choices of how people live their lives. You don't really see that in TV, and I thought this is really unique. Well, the ensemble nature of the cast, so there is an eclectic mix of characters, all with clearly defined personalities. I think I can imagine that when you write multiple characters, it's quite hard to make them different, but their personalities jump off the page. It's exciting to see how all of these different personalities mix within each other, and the clear character arcs of each character. There's not one character I can see that's just on one level and they serve a purpose. There's hardly any, I would imagine, functional characters in there. They're all relevant and they all have an influence on the story. It does set it apart, I think, and the scope and scale and the sheer size of what could happen. There's so many tracks you can follow, and obviously I've only read one episode. You get your mind going, where can it go? Where's this character going to end up? Where's Valdair going to end up? Where's Rouse going to end up? Where's the guild going to end up? Someone's died. Oh my goodness. And what's killed it? When you finish reading something, it leaves you asking questions. I think that's a positive thing. I think what makes it different from a lot of other things within its genre is that the big ideas it addresses, it doesn't just have one big theme, if you like. Certain series would be overthrowing a government and power to the people. Obviously, with multiple seasons, I know a little bit about what's coming in the other season, just a tiny smidge,
Just sweet.
a bit. But you know, gender politics, climate change, war, and all of these big issues are addressed as the series go on. That makes it really exciting. I didn't really notice it, to be honest, and it's a good thing, I think.
Yeah.
You know, it's refreshing for not to see lazy storylines, which can, well, lazy's a bit harsh, but it's an easy storyline, isn't it, to make a love interest, or it creates some kind of tension, but it doesn't need it. I think it doesn't necessarily need to have romance or love, and it does make you think, why is there not any in this world? You know, because people are people, and maybe there's something about that makes it otherworldliness, you know. And it allows room for the narratives to breathe. You know, it allows the stories that you want to tell have the space that they need in order to be fulfilled. I think on the page he's initially not. You think, oh, is he likable? Who is this prick? But that's a misconception to read him that way, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think, you know, his appearance, how he is, he represents masculinity and what masculinity is usually perceived to be. But what is that? And I think he has a tortured vulnerability, which obviously isn't seen so much in the first episode. It's hinted at with his substance abuse. It's not something you would necessarily associate with like a antagonistic character. I don't think he is wholly the antagonist, I think, at all. And I find him intriguing in my own experiences of life. I can, obviously, it's very different from Valder, but there's a lot I can see in my own life which I can use directly. I can align myself with working as part of a security force, you know, and being military and working close observation, being a leader, being physically able, understanding the responsibility of carrying weapons and how that is perceived by the civilians and all of that stuff that goes along with it. And then, you know, I've lived a life. I've got a bit of trouble of my own, and it's quite nice to for that to be a positive thing when using character, you know. Because there's a big old movement now. There's a trend towards certain circles trying to achieve higher state of consciousness through use of like DMT, because it's so closely tied with the religion within Small Gods. There's that affiliation of it releasing spirit, you know, and you contacting or having some kind of form of enlightenment or feeling closer to God, if you like, whatever God is to you, whether that's the universe or imagination or energy or whatever, you know, it's a closeness to depth of spirit. Usually they're put with like a negative connotation or opulence and, you know, that kind of thing, because everyone knows what traditional drug taking looks like. It's up the nose, you smoke it or you inject it. And I think maybe us as an audience would already have associations with what that is, where this can rewrite that relationship, if you like. Because you deserve it. From the show itself, oh mate, there's just so much to enjoy, I think. And you're bound to find a part of yourself within at least one character within there. Whether you identify as male, female, non-binary, other, in between, not just from that perspective, but characters are so well-rounded and so well fleshed out that you'll hopefully be able to relate in some way to someone. Plus the world is just fucking cool, man. Sick. Like there's assassins and stuff, and if you want to get just on that kind of track, it's fun. Yeah. Well, it's tense and there's intrigue, and I think what I see in my mind's eye of how it looks, I think it's going to be stunning. There's a lot to watch, and there'll be a lot to follow, and you can really invest. Yeah, it's going to be binge worthy, I think.